Hello everyone, my name is Rajiv Priyadarshi and I'm from PR3 Systems. PR3 Systems is a leading provider of consulting and training services focused on IBM Information Server. We are based in Illinois. We have helped many customers leverage their investment in IBM Information Server. Our clients include Fortune 500 companies like McDonald's, Walgreens, Aon, Wells Fargo, etc. Today we are going to talk about IBM Information Server implementation plan. Why is a plan important? Information Server implementation involves a lot of decisions. These decisions depend upon the expected data volumes, expected data growth, critical windows for processing, needs for data quality, needs for batch processing, needs for real-time processing, the list goes on and on. Depending upon what exactly these needs are, it's very important to have an analysis and assessment and then design the system based upon these specific data points. If these steps are not taken, the resulting implementation would not be geared towards all the goals that the organization has, and it might not perform as your data grows. Furthermore, what happens is that every BI organization has some tactical goals and some strategic long-term vision. Most of the time, as you are implementing an ETL solution, what gets more focus are the short-term goals. There are many ways to achieve the short-term goals, but as you implement the short-term goals, if you are also not very careful about what is the long-term strategy, the short-term steps that you take to meet your short-term objectives might not be aligned with your long-term vision, which might need a lot of rework as time progresses. Hence, these are two of the important reasons why the planning process is very important for information server implementation. What are some of the short-term goals? Every organization is different and different organizations have got different short-term goals. I'm just giving here some of the short-term goals which I've encountered from my experience with different clients. The most common goal is that organizations want to create an ETL infrastructure for an effective data integration platform. Typically what happens is that many organizations already have some idea of what data integration is, and they might have used PL, SQL, or some homegrown ETL process to load the data to the target tables. But they realize that for all the long-term growth, they need to have a process which is easy to use and which could be customized and which is extendable as the data volumes increase with time. And that is why they purchase the ETL tool. What I've also seen in some organizations that they buy information server because there might be some compliance requirements. One of our clients, they were using fixed protocol to transfer data to other organizations in the financial industry, and then the industry norms changed and the industry was moving from fixed, which is FIX, to fixed ML, and suddenly they had this need to create a lot of XML files at a very fast rate, and none of the solutions, whether programming or whatever that they looked at, could not give them the volume that they needed with respect to creation of these XML files. So that is why they chose information server. The third requirement that I've seen is that there would be different systems and the organization wants these systems to be totally synced up, and information server provides a way to replicate data from one system to multiple systems and vice versa. And a lot of times I've also seen a lot of data quality issues where names are misspelled, addresses are wrong. And since information server has got a very strong process to fix data quality issues, information server is also brought in to fix data quality issues. These are just a sample of the typical short-term goals which organizations have. Your organization might have a totally different short-term goal, or your organization might have a subset of these goals. But the key aspect which I'm trying to highlight is that whatever these short-term goals are, they need to be considered as you plan. Many organizations also have different long-term objectives. And again, it depends from organization to organization. But I have seen from my experience the following long-term objectives in organization. Number one is implementing the foundation and tools for an effective organizational information governance. So nowadays, there's a lot of proliferation of data all across the organization, and as a result, there's no clear definition of what the data means. We are having challenges with single version of truth, and add to that the whole mix of big data coming in, and you've got to leverage the insights that you get from textual analytics. So as a result, there's a lot of complexity in your data architecture, and to make sure that you are able to leverage all the benefits from your information assets, you need to have a very good information governance program. And information server implementation can help you to enable some of the policies that you incorporate within your information governance program. The second goal that I've seen is that yes, we can design the ETL systems for today, but what happens if the data goes 5 years from now? So whatever that you do today, you need to be far-sighted and plan for what changes might happen and what would it take to be geared towards the new challenges that might come in future. So anything that you do in the short run has got some long-term implications, and that is why you got to be very careful about what short-term objectives are and how you're fulfilling them. Are they aligned with all your long-term goals and objectives? And whenever you implement information server, it's not just for one department. Even though one department might be using ETL, you need to have a common standard from a organizational data integration perspective. And that is a very important long-term objective that you need to consider as you implement information server. So based upon all of these things, what we have come from our experience that we propose an implementation plan which includes training. I've seen a lot of developers who are developing and creating jobs in information server without getting proper training, and as a result, the jobs that they create, they are not exactly high performing, they're not using the best practices, and as and when you have got challenges coming, you are not able to respond rightly. So training is very, very critical. The second step is assessment. What we have got is what PR3 Systems does is we have got an assessment of 127 points that we look from data quality to data lineage requirements, real-time data processing requirements, and based upon that we create and recommend a roadmap which can help you to win the short-term goals as well as be geared towards the long-term objectives, and overall you have got the best of both worlds. Once you have done all of that analysis, then the third step would be installation and configuration. Now why is that the third step? As techies, we always think that we should do installation first, because there are a lot of parameters that are used in installation and configuration, and unless you have done some kind of analysis to find out what those parameters should be, your resulting infrastructure is not going to be robust enough and scalable enough for future. And as a result, it's very, very important to do the assessment before you do the install. Now once you have done the installation and configuration, it's important to create a prototype project where you can implement some simple jobs the right way, where you implement all the best practices, and then you communicate that with the rest of the team. So what we suggest is something like a mentor development, where you have got your developers working on it, but they are guided by somebody who's experienced on all the best practices, so that all the new developers can be coached on new ways of implementation, which are designed for good support, which are also designed for the best performance. And as we go further on this path, it's very important to have periodic feedback for performance and standard checks. And as and when you get new information, so what we always suggest is that you need to use the data stage or information server best practices. You also need to get the organization's best practices, which are outside the information server. And then you combine them to create some best practices which are very unique to your organization. And once everybody follows the best practices, then you'll find that you have less rework issues, you have got much faster production support calls, and it's much easier to debug if you have a problem. So these are some of the steps that we recommend. Please share your comments, give your feedback, and let us know if you have some additional questions. We will be more than happy to help you with your information server journey. Thank you very much for watching this video.